Hi, everyone. People are trickling in. Hello. Oh, good. A face. Hello. Hi, Cheryl. We'll give people a few minutes. This is laid back. I think people might come in and out the whole time, and that's totally fine. Good. Hi, everyone. Feel free to use your camera if you want, but no pressure to. We just really like seeing your face. And this is recorded, so it will be on the website. So if you're not comfortable using your camera, that's totally fine. Good. Give everyone just a couple more minutes. So as we trickle in, please make sure you have your own nature journaling things with you that you would like, because this is not a workshop. We're journaling together, and I'll talk and share some ideas, but really you can use this how you want. Oh, Carolyn, where are you? Are you in your garden or in a coffee shop? No pressure to answer. It just looks so nice where you are.
Sorry, I couldn't get unmuted. I'm at my house.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I will probably mute everyone to begin, just in case there's accidental background noises. And then I know I just asked you a question, but later on when we have more discussion, we'll unmute folks. Okay, I think we've got a good number of people here. So as you join, please feel free to put your name and where you're joining us from in the chat. We love seeing where people are from. And I'll be telling you where I'm from. And then I think we can get started soon. Good. There's me. Hi, everyone. Okay, so there's that. Okay, good. Thanks, Cheryl. Okay, so as you introduce yourselves, Eve and I, let's introduce ourselves. You can go ahead, Eve.
Sure thing. My name's Eva Moore. It's good to be here with all of you. I'm calling in from San Francisco, California, United States, and I'm here today to support Corina and join with all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy Eve is here. Some of you probably recognize Eve's name because she's a wonderful nature drilling teacher and has some really nice online videos that I'm going to mention them later, Eve, because they're related to today's topic. And I'm also super happy to have Eve as support today because I know you're an expert at Zoom and I'm not. So hi, everyone. Welcome. It's really nice to see the diversity of places people are from. I expected a lot of people from North America, and we also have people from Europe, which I'm glad. It's evening for you there, so I was hoping people could make it. I'll introduce myself. I'm Corina Brdar. Eva mentioned I teach live in-person nature journaling workshops. Usually, I'm in Canada, and I have a different full-time job. I work for a nonprofit organization, but I love doing this. And Eva and I are both help Bethan and Jules and Melinda with organizing International Nature Drilling Week. So the first question I have for everyone is, are you enjoying the week? Feel free to put thoughts in the chat. And yeah, I see smiles. That's perfect. We record the chat, I believe, and Bethan's asleep right now. Oh, thumbs up. Perfect. Thank you. Thumbs up are good. So when Bethan sees this and Jules, they'll get to see some of our conversation. Okay, so today I am going to be sharing ideas of what we can do together about today's theme. You can do whatever you want, and you can come and go as you want. These are really casual journaling together sessions, but I'll give you some ideas of things to do. But I first want to because this is an international event, which is so cool, I want to share a bit about where I'm from. So I'm going to try sharing my screen. Okay, share, good. I know there's a bit of a moment. Can you can see my map?
Yep, we
The
can
map?
see Ontario.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I love maps. Hopefully other people like maps. You can draw maps in your nature journal. So I'm in the province of Ontario, Canada. So here's Canada, the big country north of the United States. And this is my province, and I live right above the T in Lake Ontario. So these are the Great Lakes. They're some of the biggest freshwater lakes in the world. So I'm very lucky to live on these inland sweetwater seas, as they're called. And I also really want to acknowledge that my ancestors came here from Europe, and these are actually the homelands of hundreds of different Indigenous nations. And where I am is the homeland of the Haudenosaunee people, the Wendat, and the Mississaugas. And I am so grateful that I'm able to live here and enjoy this beautiful land and show my appreciation through it, for it through nature journaling. So I'll stop sharing. Well, actually, I'm going to show you my next picture. No, I'm going to stop sharing. So first thing I want to do is I want to let you know also that where I live, so we're in, we get the 4 seasons here. We get snowy winters and all that. And right now, May and June are peak reproduction and replication season. You know, everything's here, and you can put in the chat what's happening where you are, but where I am, all the birds are either making nests if they haven't already, or sometimes some have eggs that have hatched. Everything is going on. It's chaos. There's flowers everywhere. It's such a lush, vibrant time of year. And so that's why I'm super excited to do this theme today. And even I was driving somewhere today, and there was a huge female turtle crossing the road. And she's crossing the road to lay her egg. So everything is full on right now. Yeah, you guys. So I can't see the chat. Can you see the chat, Ivea?
Yes, I can.
Has anyone put in something that they see happening with reproduction or replication in their area yet?
I haven't seen any responses, but it looks like folks are typing.
Okay, great. Yeah, please jump in and tell me. And also, I'd like to hear how people are interpreting this theme today, because all of the themes are meant to be fluid. They all flow into each other, right? Like life is not in boxes. You know, we don't do like this phase and then like pass through door and go into another phase. They're all connected. And our team, I wouldn't say we struggled, but we had a lot of conversation of how do we choose 7 different things that people could use as prompts. And so I noticed in the Facebook group, people are interpreting things different ways, and that's really, really cool to see. And I did want to mention I'm one of the moderators on the Facebook. I'm Coco, so if you see that, that's me too. Kind of nice to have faces to name. Yeah, so I'm super curious to know how you all have been interpreting the theme. Today, I'm going to share some photos of flowers, which are a really obvious sign of reproduction. And we can journal that together, but there's many other ways to interpret this theme. Is there anything popping up there, Ivea, of ideas?
There is indeed.
Cool.
We have some lovely responses. We have lots, one person is saying that they have lots of fledgling birds and nest building activity. Another person is saying that as a woman, she likes to work with her cycle and be part of nature. Another person is saying that she heard 14 different birds on her morning walk on Boulder Mountain in Utah, USA. Lots of mating going on. Another person is saying that she is seeing and hearing nesting birds, territorial disputes, howling coyotes, and loads of wildflowers.
Wow, so people are really picking up on lots of different things. And the bird song one is really neat because the birds sing, the males, to advertise how wonderful they are so that they can mate and reproduce. And then also for territory to defend where they're nesting and their resources. So yeah, that's a really good one. And I want to make sure people have noticed, if you haven't already, in the newsletter or on the webpage for each day, Bethan's compiled a bunch of really interesting resources there. And so I know she put one there about the satin bowerbird, which is where she lives. And it's very interesting mating rituals. And I'm sure wherever you are, there are birds with equally interesting mating rituals, even if they're not as beautiful and obvious. Good. Yeah, and I'm really glad someone mentioned, I'm just going to share another photo here, just a sec. The relating it to yourself, because we are also animals, and so we also go through all of these things. And yeah, reproduction, many of us here are women, maybe some of us have reproduced, maybe some of us have mates. And I was just going to share, my mate shows up in my nature journal a lot. I was going to just share a picture of that. So he gets, I'll give it a second, but are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, okay, so this is, I'll zoom in a bit. We spend a lot of time together in nature, and I'm very lucky that he'll sit there. He's happy to sit there for an hour while I nature journal. So I took a Mary Oliver poem called How I Go to the Woods. And hopefully many of you are familiar with her. She's such a beautiful poet with such a connection to nature. And she died 2 years ago, and she was in her 80s. But her poetry is beautiful if you haven't already discovered it. And what I did was I was having this really nice time with my mate in nature, and I found this Mary Oliver poem that captured it, and I just changed some of the words to suit the habitat we were in. But her poem was about how special her time alone in nature is, and if she chooses for someone to join her, she must love them very much. You know, you can include yourself in your nature journal. So I want to share that. Okay, so what I thought we would do is I'm going to share some photos of flowers that I took this morning that have really interesting examples of reproduction. And so let me just find those. I'll share the first. Well, actually, first what I'll do is I'll share with you how I'm going to nature journal them, and as a possibility for you to try, but you can nature journal them whatever way you like. So there's so many different techniques. What I'd like to know is if you are new to nature journaling, maybe like use the hand up in the reactions if you know how, or put it in the chat, because I really love how people join nature journaling for the first time. Yeah. Oh, cool. Good. Okay. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Yay. Oh, good. Okay. Perfect. So if you haven't already found out, there are a million methods to use. You can do a beautiful drawing if that's what you like to do, but you don't have to. Yay. Okay. Lots of first timers. Good. Okay. This is the perfect session for you then. So you don't have to capture a realistic likeness of what you're doing. It's all about your purpose of why you're out there nature journaling. And so what I'm going to do today is I have 9 photos of flowers. I'm going to do like a quick color blob in some way, and then I'm going to try to draw something that somewhat represents the flowers. So are you seeing a red blob that's vaguely flower looking? Yeah, okay, good. So this I drew last year, but all I did, this is a poppy. I just put a blob of red paint, and then I did spend a little more time with, I think I used a pen and some gouache, or maybe a gold pen, to try to capture some of the details. So that's what I'm going to do today. You are welcome to do whatever you like. And so I'm going to start with the poppy. So Ivea, if you can highlight the poppy so everyone can see it well.
Oh,
And then, oh yeah,
I believe folks can see it well. Can folks see it well?
yeah, I saw a thumbs up. Perfect, good. Okay, so feel free to start capturing this in your own way. I'm going to probably talk more than I draw. Tune me out or draw something completely different. Finish up a page from earlier in the week. Do whatever you like. But I do want to share some of my nature journaling thoughts about some of these flowers. Maybe I'll try to paint as I talk. I'm not good at multitasking. For me, nature journaling's I like to be alone or with that mate that you saw. I don't usually do it in groups because I have a hard time concentrating. For me, nature journaling is a practice to be absorbed in the subject. For other people, it's super social, and that is a wonderful way to do it too. And it's totally up to you what you like. And if you're new, you might find you prefer something more than another. If you're new, you might discover that there are nature journal clubs near you. And Ivea, I know you're trying to draw too, but did you want to say anything about nature journal clubs or the social aspect of nature journaling? Because I feel like that's a real strength of yours.
Oh, thank you. A thing I would say about them is that um, anybody can start one. I know that sometimes it can be really hard to think about how to make those connections and find people. There's options online to connect with each other, like right now at International Nature Journaling Week. And then there are, as I said, ways to start your own if you'd like. Or if you're worried about leading, you can find other people who are simply interested and then decide to go someplace together. So that way it's not, doesn't have to be so much about leading or organizing, just simply choosing a place that you all want to be at the same time. Um, some ideas about places to find people if it's hard to say nature journaling. Maybe you can go to places where there are birders or botanists, botanical gardens, or maybe in your library. Or sometimes the hardest part of community is finding where community meets. And so my hope is that folks will be able to find people in person to hang out with if that's what you're wanting to do, and to find companionship and nurture that together.
Thanks, Ivea. That I really love that approach of nurturing together and finding people that are generally like-minded, and maybe they won't actually nature journal, but maybe they'll just hang out and nature enjoy with you. Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. I'll I'm coloring. I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm using. So I know you can't see my poppy. Do you guys also see me? Like if I show you something, will you see it? Or you focus on poppy? It doesn't matter.
You are spotlighted, so but we mostly see your shared screen. But if people are able to see sort of the split screen thing, then we can see you as well. But it might depend on a person's setup.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm using then, and for those that continue to, I'll show you. Because you've probably seen, for those of you who are new or have been doing it a while, a lot of nature journal teachers use pretty nice watercolor paints. You can use a simple set, but when you get into it, you start wanting to get nicer ones, put it on gift wish list. But I knew I'm not fast at mixing paints, so I decided to use my watercolor pencils, which were a Christmas present. These ones, they're German. They're from Stadler Carat Aquarelle. And what they are, they're like pencil crayons. They look like a pencil crayon, but the pigment is water soluble. So you can color like a pencil crayon, but then you can add water and it blends really nicely like watercolor. So I thought that would be nice for today. So I'll use that, and then I really hope people share their pages after. I want to see what people do with this. And I can already tell that the time is gonna fly, because I was thinking this might not last a whole hour. I think it will. We might not get through all the flowers I had for you guys. Okay, I have to let that one dry. I think what I'll do is I will share what I did too, but I'll probably work on it more after because I'm talking too much. Please, you share what you're doing. I'm probably gonna switch the photos soon, just so you know, so you're not surprised and disappointed. I tend to do my sketches pretty fast. I know some people like to do really detailed sketch, and that's fine too. But for me, I'm often squeezing in nature journaling in little gaps in the day. So my sketches are fast and not beautiful or that accurate. But I do want to say a few things about this. So I hope you noted as you nature journal this structure in the middle is very interesting. And if you're familiar with poppies and you've seen their seed heads, this thing turns into this cool pod thing that is very architectural, very interesting. I nature journal these poppies a lot actually. And then you can see I think they're called stamens, I should know, with the pollen, and you can see a pollinator has visited this because there's pollen all over, which makes me think it was a bumblebee, something big and pollen all over the place. If you go to the resources Bethan has shared for today, she has included a link to name the different flower parts and understand what they're about. I'm not gonna do that because I have spent my life sciencing nature. I'm an ecologist, that's what I do. So all day for 30 years, I've been like putting names and labels and numbers to nature and putting nature in boxes. And so for me, nature journaling is about connecting in a different way. So I'm not gonna be scientific, but you might be very interested to find out, well, what is this thing in the middle? That's cool. Like, what is that? And who might have pollinated this? There's so many questions and things you can look into. Okay, I'm gonna switch the photo soon. So wherever you got to, or I did it right then. I just did it. It's fine. I'm gonna choose another flower now. And this one, there's some interesting things I can tell you about this flower. So a lot of these flowers are flowers in my garden that I went out this morning and I went out with the idea I have peonies, and I think if people are from a temperate zone like I am, you'll be familiar with them. They're huge, showy flowers. They're beautiful. And so I had this idea, oh, we're going to nature journal peonies. And then I went outside and all these other things were in bloom. And my peonies hadn't opened yet. So I immediately dropped my idea and shifted to what was nature presenting to me. And I think that's a valuable practice is as you become more comfortable with nature journaling, it's great to go out with an idea and a plan. And it's also really nice to be able to switch gears if something else shows up. So as soon as I walked outside and saw so many other things flowering, I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a collection of who is in full bloom right now in my garden. And doing a collection is a very interesting practice where you pick a theme. So today it's things that are in full bloom, and you go out and look for examples of that. And you can draw like little boxes and like do quick sketches or writing of what the things are, the names if you know them. And so I specifically thought I'm going to choose flowers that have open faces and like radial symmetry, so kind of symmetrical around a circle, and the ones where I can see all the reproductive parts. Because I have things flowering that have unusual forms, like things that are in the pea family, and you can't really see the parts. So today my collection is things that are full bloom, wide open, we can see the parts. And so I hope I see people are drawing. I'm so glad, whether you're drawing this or whatever else. This flower, can anyone guess? You can put it in the chat if you like. Just anyone that knows anything about flowers. and knowing kind of where I am in the world, can you guess who might pollinate this? So it's like a tube-shaped flower. It's a bright pinky red. And then notice how the female part sticks out to capture pollen, and the male parts are a little bit further down. And you can see they're going to deposit pollen all around someone's head. Eva, has anyone guessed in the chat who might pollinate this, or do you know?
Nobody's guessed yet, but it looks as though people are typing. Oh yes, two folks have guessed hummingbird.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm sure other creatures pollinate this too, but I was so lucky to take a university course on pollination biology actually it was in Mexico City many years ago. And so we learned the different strategies that flowers employ to convince pollinators to come visit them. And flowers that are tube shaped and this color often are visited by hummingbirds. And that's why often hummingbird feeders are red. So the hummingbird loves this shrub. I don't actually really like it. It's a really messy, scraggly shrub in like a really awkward place, but the hummingbird loves it so much, the shrubs stay. Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying drawing this. I'm not going to keep it up too much longer. I'm going to switch to another one. But I also wanted to share something very interesting about plants. When I said I chose flowers that are radially symmetrical, so you can see like if you cut this into pie piece shapes, it would be symmetrical. And I saw Evan nod. I hope you don't mind, Eva. I'm going to shout out your course. Ivea has created a really interesting course, which I haven't taken yet, and I really want to. I guess it's a series of 2 courses about plants in our food. Do you want to mention that?
Sure thing.
Mhm.
So far I have a series 1 and 2. I'm in process of creating 3 and 4. And series 1, I'm going to be teaching it again starting next week on Wednesday at 9 Pacific. And so the idea with this is that we learn 8 families, 8 plant families, families being different groupings of the plants at a level a bit higher than species and genre or genus. But the idea is more about learning how to see plants, less about having to memorize things and learning how to look and how to make sense of what you're seeing about plants. And the reason why it's plant families in our foods is in hopes of it being easier to remember because it connects to something that we do and enjoy every single day. It's so fun when we look at our food or our fruits or our vegetables in a different way than we've been looking at them. So my hope is to help people feel like plants aren't so scary, that they're more approachable, and that they're fun. And thank you for shouting out my course, Corina.
Yeah, I should have warned you. They put you on the spot, but I've been really been wanting to take it. So I hope people here enjoy it if they haven't already. Okay, I'm going to switch our Wigelia now. And I know for some people that might be stressful. You might be like, well, I'm just in the middle of drawing this. My intention is not to cause stress, but to allow you, now that you know that I'm going to switch them pretty quickly, to know that, okay, I just need to get something down and I'm not worried about creating perfection here. I don't think we're going to get through them all. And there's some really cool ones because I want to get to the native ones too. Okay, I'm going to do this one and I'm going to zoom in. So there's my peony who didn't quite open to show its parts. I'm hoping you guys can see this.
We can, but there's a quick question to know which was the last, which was that last flower again? What was it called?
Oh, it's called Wigelia, and I'm so terrible at Zoom. I don't know how to find the chat right now because I'm sharing my screen. Oh, there it is. I can put it in the chat. Wigelia could spell
It looks like Delphine wrote it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Oh, no, I do not want to reboot my computer right now. You couldn't pick a worse time. Thanks. Yeah, let me know if there's questions. Does anyone know this one? Feel free to put the name in the chat. And if it doesn't come up, I'll tell you guys. But notice the coloration. Oh, isn't that pretty together? For those of you, some people are colorblind, but the purple and the yellow. And you might know, those of you that have been painting a little while, that these are considered complementary colors. So they're across from each other on the color wheel. And that's why it looks so stunning together. When you put colors together that are opposite to each other on a color wheel, which is basically a rainbow in a circle, they really help each other pop out. So the complementary colors are purple and yellow, red and green, and orange and blue. And the easy way to remember is purple's made by mixing together red and blue. And so it's opposite, it's yellow. It's not made with yellow. And they're all like that. So green's made with blue and yellow, its opposite is red. Orange is made with red and yellow, its opposite is blue. That's gorgeous. So look at these structures. And yeah, Eva, I know you know what they all are and you would have described them way better. I'm not putting names on them. I'm gonna let people discover the names on their own if they like. You can be Googling it right now if you want. But also notice, I don't know how about showing it, but there's this little structure in the middle with a little doo-doo at the end. That is the actual scientific term for that. Because I was looking at this first. That was a joke. I didn't really corny jokes. That's what it's called. And it's like, oh, I'm only seeing these things. I'm pretty sure those are probably the male parts. Where's the female part? Some flowers only have male or female. I noticed someone in the Facebook today learned that and pointed that out. But I'm pretty sure this has both. Notice also, I'm hoping to show you up on the screen, all these little hairy things. So those structures may serve a purpose. The thing is, these are garden plants, so they could be native to somewhere, or they could be a cultivar that's been bred and bred and bred to be showy and maybe not. It might be bred so much that its reproductive functions are sometimes they become kind of absent if it's bred a lot. So I'm not sure the story with this plant. Eva, has anyone put the name in the chat, or do you know more about this plant?
I saw Annette guessed Virginia spiderwort.
I think, yeah, I just call it spiderwort, but Virginia spiderwort sounds good.
And I don't know much about this plant. I have ideas and guesses, but I love that I don't know because that means it's a new plant to befriend and learn.
Yeah, you know what? And sometimes that not knowing is so nice. It's for me, like because I've worked in the field of ecology for so long, as has Ivea, and because it was my job, you kind of get over familiar with nature and you think you know everything. Well, I did. And it kind of becomes every day. And then when I discovered nature journaling during the pandemic, like many people did, it was like I became a new person and nature was brand new to me. And it became a whole world of discovery again. I see Eva nodding. Yeah, like it just so I realized how much I don't know, even about things I thought I knew a lot about. Like, oh, actually, I don't know anything, which is super fun. So I am showing you garden plants. So some of them might be native to somewhere. If this is Virginia spiderwort, it makes me think maybe it's native to Virginia. Our climate is a little cooler than Virginia. We're a different seed zone, but this does survive as a perennial where I am. So maybe it's from there. So I was in my garden choosing pictures for you guys today, and I'm like, well, none of my native plants are flowering right now. Where I live, a lot of native flowers flower first thing in the spring, and those are called spring ephemerals. So they're things that tend to grow in the forest and they flower before the leaves come out so that they have sun on them and the insects can find them. And then they stop. And then I felt like, well, there's kind of a lull. And then later in the summer, we have tons of native flowers that are flowering. And I thought, well, something native must be flowering this time of year because otherwise what the pollinators do. So then I went for a walk and I realized, oh, a lot of our native shrubs are flowering. So I'm going to switch to that. So hopefully you've captured this as much as you like. Where's my native shrub? I love this. And I haven't figured out who this is yet. It has, it's not a maple, but its leaves kind of look like maple leaves. They're lobed like this, if you can see the blurry in the top. And doesn't it almost look like one of those fancy hydrangeas? For those of you that know hydrangeas, but it's not because those aren't native to where I am. So it's I have a guess of what this is, but if someone else knows, please tell me because I want to get some for my garden. I don't want to. I hope people who are nature journaling right now are maybe putting down questions or ideas about what they're seeing, because that is part of nature journaling. But I do want to point out, look at these outer flower looking things. There's just a dot in the middle. Like, so can this structure actually be used? Is it a reproductive structure? Like, what is that? And then look at these in the middle. I see reproductive structures in here. So what I think, this is a compound flower. I suspect these are actually not flowers at all, these big white things. I think they're sepals, which is a different part of the plant. And then the actual flowers are these tiny little things in here. Because you can see the male anthers and stamens and everything. And I think I see some female parts too. I'm not positive. Flowers like this. Okay, I will say some of my thoughts, their guesses. I think it has this ring of big white showy things to draw in the pollinators, say, hey, look, there's something good here. And then they get here and they realize, oh, actually the nectar and the pollen that I'm looking for is in these little bits, which is cool. And Eva, if you want to add something, because I know you have a ton of expertise, please feel free, but it's up to you.
This one's new to me as well, which is exciting. But I'm also noticing, like you said, the difference between the outer ring and the inner ring. And it gives me so many questions as well. Like, is there a smell to the flower?
Yeah.
The parts smell different. Two folks are, Larissa and Annette are both saying that it might be a viburnum. And so, yeah, I'm wondering about the smells. I'm wondering if one develops before the other or if they emerge at the same time. I'm wondering what the very center looks like of each of the littler flowers. Just because there's a particular family that I really love that in the center, it looks like two marshmallows glommed together. And so I wonder if that's present here or not. And then I'm wondering, like, I wonder what it would look like if I looked from underneath and how the flowers would branch off. Would they make little clusters each, or would they kind of go off into lightning structures of different flowers? I don't know, but it's enchanting seeing this. So enchanting.
I love your list of questions. Look at how quickly Evia did that. That's awesome. Like 10 questions, like nothing. So I know several of you are new, which I love so much. But with practice, you can start coming up with questions like that. You could fill a whole page with questions. And one of my favorite nature journal teachers, Marley Pfeiffer, is a friend of Evia's, and he has really good tips about how to come up with questions. And so if you don't know Marley or his work, he has a YouTube channel called the Nature Journal Show. I think Evia and I are both Patreons for that. And he has, I don't know, a zillion videos on there. Yeah, you're putting in the chat. He gets you to think about nature journaling in new ways. Like I like that, the kind of philosophical approach. Oh, and mentioning Patreon reminds me, I have to do a little public service announcement. International Nature Journaling Week, we're so happy to offer it for free. And I'm hoping everyone's at least seen Bethan and Jules this week. They've been active on Facebook, and obviously Bethan's sending out the emails. They came up with this idea, just two women, of creating this beautiful thing and putting it into the world as a gift. And they've made it happen. And a few more of us, Melinda, Eve, and I have come on board to help. But it's a massive labor of love. But there are costs, just hosting the website, hosting a email listserv, all that. There are some costs to it. So we do hope if people have the means that they consider donating. Anything you donate helps, anything, because it's any tiny amount you can donate if you're able is money that then the organizers don't have to spend. we're all joyfully sharing our time, and we love getting help defraying the cost. So thank you. I am going to switch this very soon. Good. Oh, I see people joining. Hey, you have a friend. Give them pen and paper. But I'm going to switch to a new picture. So I think I'm going to choose something because, okay, I have the last two I know I want to do. No, three. This is what we call a weed in Canada. And there's something very interesting going on with it. And it's kind of not the best picture in the world, but I'm not gonna describe this. I'm gonna let you look at these structures and figure out what is this. So this is my peak flower, and then there's some other things going on. I'll zoom in a bit more. There. I noticed in some of the other sessions, there's been some discussion, Bethan and Jules and others, about weeds versus not weeds. And so because Canada is a colonized country, when people from Europe came over, they brought over the plants they were familiar with and loved, and used. And so this is one of those. It's called celandine, Celandine. And I think, and the people in Europe can confirm, I think this is treated as a garden plant in Europe. Not positive. If someone knows something about this plant, please let me know. Here, it's a weed. It self-seeds. I think it might be biennial because it has pretty big roots, but it spreads readily by seed. But it pops up everywhere, and I didn't know we've put the label weed on it, so we pull it out. But I have a feeling other people treat it as a garden plant. I didn't. So Yvette, let me know if someone puts in thoughts about this plant.
Larissa's put in, we call it wood poppy, is what Larissa says.
Okay, yeah, see, and I've wondered about that because, Larissa, if you don't mind typing in where you are, we have a wood poppy here that's native, and it's actually considered an endangered species. Where I am in Ontario, because we're kind of in this bottom triangle, we get a lot of species that are actually more common in the northeastern US and even down to the Appalachians. And the part of Ontario not far from where I am, it's called Carolinian Canada because we have Carolinian species. But I feel like this is similar but different, but I don't actually know.
Larissa is calling in from Virginia.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, well, maybe the thing that we call wood poppy is something different then, because people pay a lot of money to buy wood poppy at native plant nurseries here, and this grows everywhere. And that's the thing with common names. Maybe they're both called wood poppy. And then what we consider rare and special here is just a different individual with a different scientific name. It does look very poppy-like. I'm not going to spend a long time on this one. It's a little bit simpler to draw. But I do hope you noted these long green structures and maybe put down some questions about them. And I really hope people aren't feeling rushed and panicky. Getting used to sketching things fast, it's kind of nice because then it increases the amount that you actually get out in nature journal. But I know that can be uncomfortable for people. This is being recorded, so if you were in the middle of drawing this and you want to be able to complete it, you'll be able to go to the recording and scan to where it is and spend more time with it. but I do want to get, it doesn't have time to chat. So I'm going to show, this is a hard decision. Well, it's going to be hard to draw because it's white. It's a really pretty native flower, but it's really similar. I'm going to just show this because this is interesting. So this is a flax flower. And what I want you to take note of is these lines, because they jumped out at me. And I think, and I don't know, but I feel like if you looked at this under different kind of light, a different kind of camera, they might really pop out. And I think they might be like arrows for pollinators saying the good stuff is here. A lot of plants employ that. And sometimes we can see it, as in this case, and sometimes we can't. And then if you take a picture with UV light or something, it's like, whoa. If you guys don't already know it, his name is Ed Jong. He's a New York Times writer. And what's the book called? It's about animal senses, An Immense World. It's I highly recommend this book, An Immense World by Ed Jong, Jong. Oh, it is mind-blowing. It is it's about what we understand about how other animals perceive their world. And last year, our theme for International Nature Drilling Week was using our senses. And so we use the senses that we know that humans use. So like sight and taste, and even there's a sense that's about how we sense our body in space. But animals have, like, it's miraculous, the senses. So highly recommended. I listened to it on audiobook. He has a lovely British accent, very soothing. And this plant is interesting. On the east coast of Canada, there's a village, one of these villages that recreates when Europeans came and what their lives were like. And so I saw how they grew flax and the work it took to turn it into linen. So the scientific name of flax is Linum, I can't remember the species name, but Linum. And so just that word is similar to linen. There's a connection. So you know linen is made from this plant. It's super pretty. Yeah, I think everyone knows this, but I did want to say, you know, we're using all these life cycle stages this week or this month, which is this week, which is really cool. And reproduction is one. Everything that's alive is like incredibly motivated to do. Life wants to replicate itself. And so flowering plants evolved to draw in other animals to help them spread their genes. And it's such a powerful force. And the birds singing takes so much energy, but it's worth it because it helps them bring in mates so they can make babies or defend their territory and get food for their babies. It's such a powerful force. Not all beings reproduce this way. Some beings reproduce without, well, this is sexual reproduction, so two organisms sharing genes. You can also reproduce on your own, not just through science if you're a human, but beings reproduce by spreading runners. I saw someone on Facebook showed a pawpaw tree spreading by runners or rhizomes. You know, interesting organisms, fungi, things I don't know well. They have all kinds of interesting strategies for making more of themselves. So it's a really fun thing to explore with this theme.
Oh, we have a really wonderful question.
Right.
Is it a question is it appropriate or okay to nature journal animals or birds mating?
Oh, I don't think they mind as long as you're not disturbing them. Yeah, you know what, that's such an important question because for me, and I think within this community of people who share this practice, we want to make sure whatever we do does not interrupt nature doing its thing. So if you can observe the animals doing their mating in whatever way they're doing without interfering and accidentally stopping it. As long as it's not too risque for your nature journal, I say go for it. And someone on the Facebook page did a great page of ladybugs, ladybird beetles, and they're mating, and it's actually very interesting. If you're not on the Facebook page. Thanks, Ivea. Yeah, so today I was at the beach, and there's a stump that if I go early enough in the day, there's always garter snakes hanging out on it. They're sunning themselves to get warm enough for the day. And so I went and looked, I'm looking for them. And then I realized, oh my gosh, there's 5 of them there, all in a big knot. And I was so excited because I love them. And then I wondered, oh, what are you guys doing? I know you didn't just come out of hibernation, so what's going on here? And I wanted to nature journal them, but to be close enough to nature journal them, I think it would have bugged them. So I stepped off and I was trying to look with my binoculars, and I was just doing like a 2-second sketch. And then I walked away because I didn't want to bug them. Okay, I'm going to throw up one. No, I don't want to throw up any more pictures because I want us to chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to look at, oh, yeah, there's awesome. Very nice. Lots of chat. Sorry, so I'm not caught up in the chat. So Eva, let me know if anything else came up. But oh my gosh. Oh, Mackenzie. No, I'm sorry that you were made to feel badly for asking that question. They're all good questions in nature journaling. Nature journaling is I'm so glad you asked the question here. And nature journaling is about exploration and questioning. So thank you for asking here. I'm really glad you did. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm reading Brenda's comment. And you know what, if you want to like talk out loud and share, or maybe show what you've drawn while we've been together, please go ahead. Ivea is the Zoom master that knows how to do that. But I do want to note Brenda's comment about the term weeds. It's a really important point. And today I was on a beach where the beach is essentially now just crushed up zebra mussel shells. And so where I live, zebra mussels are an invasive species I think they're from the Mediterranean Sea, that have taken over the Great Lakes, and they are outcompeting native species. And it was interesting on the theme of reproduction. The reason zebra mussels are such a problem is they're so successful at reproducing. And a lot of weedy species that become invasive are amazing at reproducing. That makes them what we call invasive and take over, an ability to survive weather extremes or winter. And yeah, both Ivea and I have worked in restoration, and we've spent a lot of time trying to keep space for the diversity of our native species. But you're right, there is a debate about who belongs and who doesn't. And as a member of a colonizer population, I'm especially sensitive to the fact that we're putting a Western lens on it, and some Indigenous communities have a very different view about new plants showed up here. Great. What can you do for us? What can you tell us? There's many different ways to look at these things. So yeah, if anyone has anything they want to share, or you want to show us what you did or ask questions, please do. Oh, I should have known we'd take the whole hour. Okay, I see a hand. Okay, I'll let Eva do the thing because I'm terrible at it. Hi, Cheryl.
I'm here in southern New Mexico where it's hot, and we're about to hit 100 degrees this week plus. And so hearing about cool places makes me a little jealous. But I decided to journal about our agave plants here. Let's see if you can get my light better. Which my neighbor gave me one, and we planted it in our backyard. And there we go. And I didn't realize how successful it would be in replicating itself. They send out runners, and these are some little pups. We had one in the backyard, and we actually have a rock wall, and on the other side of it is a desert park. So we we ended up moving about 10 of them that had reproduced from our backyard to the other side of the wall where they could have the entire space behind our backyard. But I just found it fascinating that these little teeny pups, as they call them, are going to grow up to be the big guy, like its parent, and then send out its whole. We may have 50 of them out in the backyard before we're done. But there we go. This is the first time I've been able to jump in live, and I wanted to share a little of the Southwest.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That is such a foreign plant to me. I've seen it when I traveled. And for you to have it just growing. And that's a perfect example of what scientists call asexual reproduction. So the plant is replicating itself without having to get someone else involved. Well, you're involved, but yeah, that's great. And I loved your tones of your colors, of your greens. That was very, very pleasant to look at. Thank you. And I just want to note, and put a little heart. I want.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's unmute. I was just saying I decided to use my watercolor crayons when you mentioned that, and I had them in my drawer and I hadn't used them before. So I just used the one color crayon, and it's just different. And I, instead of coloring it on, I used the brush and dabbed it. And so the darker colors are with more pigment and the lighter ones were less, but it was all one color. That was kind of fun.
Wow. Yeah, that was super successful.
These little
Yes.
guys.
Oh, and it's the same brand. I haven't seen that brand. I've seen other brands. Yeah, very nice. So yeah, they're very portable. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Now I like them.
Oh, I'm so glad. And that's the nice thing about these events is, you try something new. I noticed Bethan decided to try using pencil crayons. That's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I see some questions and comments. Oh, that's neat. So come home, do a bit of research and that way go. Oh, that's cool. I just noticing what Annette wrote. Yeah, and there's no right and wrong. Like I actually like to be out in my garden. So I'll probably go outside and draw these and then show them. But yeah, you can do that. You can take photos and then add little captions. Oh, good. And you're going to share the oh, look at that. Very nice. Oh, that's very cool. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to share or ask? I'm really glad people could join today that maybe hadn't met the other or joined in on the other ones. Yeah, and I guess for people in the recording who watch the recording later, they probably won't see the picture of what Annette shared. So people, if you don't already know, we do have a Facebook group for the week where you're welcome to post your photos and share. There's also something called a Padlet, which I haven't used that much. I know it's quite easy. It's not social media. It's our kind of safe space online where people can share things. So there's that. Oh, and we'll show hers on this screen. You can share on Instagram and tag us, hashtag Nature Journaling Week, or you cannot share at all. Maybe this is just for you, and that's great too. Sometimes sharing on social media, you start to censor yourself and edit, and you're like, oh, I only want to show what looks nice. If you follow me on Instagram, I share lots of things that are very obviously quick sketches. I'll put my thing in the if you want to follow me. And I just do this quickly. Mindfulness is me. Whoops. Oh, I just sent that to Carolyn directly. Whoops. Yeah, I'm really glad that people are making it. We try to get a range of time slots because we are all over the world. Oh, thank you. Because we're all monitoring the Facebook group, but it's kind of my job. So I get to see more of when people join and answer the joining questions, and the diversity of countries we have is always really exciting to see. Good. Okay. And Nat's going to share hers on Facebook. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
We're at, oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. We had a question too. Mackenzie wants to know, could you say more about Padlet?
I wish I could. If Melinda was here, she could. Eva, do you know where the link is for it? on our page?
Unfortunately, I don't.
No, okay, I'm gonna find it quick. Do you mind chatting while I find it?
I don't know. Some folks were asking where you can find information about my upcoming classes. I'm still trying to figure out how to put it up on other places. Right now, I put mine up on a Wild Wonder website, but I'm hoping to share like an event link on Facebook. So if you look, I'll write this down, plant families in our foods, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific. And you can find the links here on this calendar, but then that I just put into the chat. But I'm going to try, like I said, to create a Facebook invite as well. And I see that Corina just put in the link to the Padlet in the chat.
Thanks, Eva. Yeah, so the Padlet, to get to it, if you don't get this link, or if you're watching the recording and you can't see the link, if you go to our page, naturejournalingweek.com, and if you look through the menu, you'll see a subtitled journal sharing. And then if you like navigate through that, you'll see Padlet. And maybe I'll share my screen for a sec so you guys can see what it looks like. And then I think we'll probably wrap up after that. Just, it's really nice out and we should be enjoying being outside too. Cheryl, it's funny. We're Celsius here. It's about 27 degrees here and pretty humid. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I know it's not that hot, but I'm not used to it. And so that's why my face is so red. I'm sweating. It's so hot to me, but to you, I know it's nothing. I think where you are is a dry heat. Here is not a dry heat. It's very unpleasant. So this is what the Padlet looks like. And you do have to, I think you have to sign up, like make a username and password, but it's not on the World Wide Web. Only people who are doing this with us will be on there and see it. It doesn't get like spammed and all that. So that's that. I'm going to stop sharing, but I also wanted to ask you, Ivea, are your previous courses, they're on your YouTube channel, right?
Yes, they are. I'm a little bit slow about uploading the videos from series 2, even though I taught it 2 years ago, but I'm trying to catch up. But yes, and I can put my YouTube into the chat as well if people would ever like to see recordings of those. Thank you for
Thanks,
yeah.
Thanks. I keep putting you on the spot. Good.
I don't mind at all. Also, so folks know too, I've also been doing this series, recently begun a series about stewardship in the nature journaling community. So if folks are interested ever in doing stewardship work and want to see all of the different ways it's possible, I've begun that series as well, and it's also been premiering on my YouTube lately, for fun.
Okay, I'm just seeing people are saying thank you. Oh, good. I'm glad people felt encouraged and not stressed by me flipping through things quickly. I taught a few nature journaling workshops this week in person to brand new people, and I think for some of them, when it's new and you're uncertain, there can be some stress involved. Whether it's I don't know what I'm doing. So I really hope people felt that there's no need to put pressure on yourself. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Oh, this is so nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna stick around for a few minutes. Feel free to go, or stick around. I'll probably, Eva, can you stay for another few minutes? Like maybe stay till 10 after, just in case. Yeah, Eva's YouTube channel's there. I encourage you to check it out. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, and I'm glad that people did their own projects too. That's neat. Yeah, it was very nice to share time. Any last questions, or anyone else want to share what they did, whether it was these flowers or something else?
I'm seeing Roseanne's hand, so I'm going to spotlight you, Roseanne.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I joined in on the conversation at the beginning, and then I got an important phone call and I had to slip out. So I don't know everything that was shared. So forgive me if I'm off track or whatever, but I was looking at the topic for today, which was reproduction and and was it regeneration? Anyway,
Replication. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so I started a little nature journal club here in my community, and I mostly have homeschool moms and their kids coming, but I have during the summer I get a few others that aren't when they're not in school that come too, and I'm excited about that. And we meet every other Thursday, and I'll do a little bit of a 15 to 20-minute talk and stuff about something that I want to focus on that day and with the kids. And I've got this last Thursday I had 20 kids. So it's great. And I love their enthusiasm, and it's so exciting. And I had a topic this last Thursday that goes along with what we're talking about today. And so I was journaling today, but I wanted to kind of share this because it was exciting to me, because I don't know if you can see this leaf.
Yeah.
See those funny little things on it? That's a maple spindle gall mite. And it's something that is regenerating itself. And so I kind of focused on galls this last time, because it's something that I've just been learning about. And I didn't know whether the kids would be interested or not, but it turns out they were fascinated. And I had found the goldenrod gall wasp, and I had found it down in the field below me with several different stages, including one of the dried ones. And I found this, I drew this on this big sheet of paper so that
wow.
see it close up. This is actually, I copied it, and I gave credit to the person who actually did it. I found it on the internet, but it was so small I had to copy it myself so they could see the life cycle of the gall wasp. And they were just fascinated. And then after that, they went out and they looked all around and found all kinds of galls, the little balls that are on leaves and things like that. And we would cut them open, see if we could see anything. And we found little worms and some things. And it was just so exciting to see them so excited about this life cycle that's so miniature and microscopic. It goes on around us all the time. And I guess I just wanted to start a nature journal club, and I talked to a couple of moms, and then they talked to a couple of moms, and then next thing you know, I had this great group of kids. And not everybody can make it every time, but I've been doing it now for over a year, and it's just been one of the best things ever. Just helping the kids learn, and I highly recommend it. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Now, that is such a cool story, and I can just picture the kids out. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. Like, where can you look
Yes.
on a leaf? Yeah, and find a little creature doing this thing. That's so perfect. And that's part of well, let's speak for Beth and Jules, but I think that's part of the vision, is whether you participate in these sessions or whatever, we just want people to use the resources, the ideas, to get out a nature journal and share. So I know you said you did it last week, but I hope you find the resources from this week and from previous years. All of the resources from the previous years are on the website.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's so great. And it really highlights what Ivea said about anyone can start one, right? That's so
Right.
great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's really neat. Okay, I think we'll wrap up, unless is there one last, I don't want to cut anyone off, and I'm also just want to make sure people get on with their day if they need to. I'm not looking at the right. I'm looking at me. I don't want to look at me. Look at all you. Okay. That's good. Okay, I will wrap up then. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for sharing in the chat. Thank you for playing along, however you did. I look forward to, if you feel like sharing online through the different venues, we look forward to seeing that. Otherwise, please enjoy in your own journal, share with your friends and family, and please enjoy the rest of the week. And no pressure, everything's there. It'll be there forever. Oh, a heart. Thank you, Delphine. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Corina.
Oh, and I just spotted Delphine's page. Gorgeous. Okay. That's wow. That's so colorful and vibrant. Thanks, everyone.